Iya, pemirsa, tadi kita sudah mengenal lebih banyak bagaimana kerjasama antara Singapura dan juga Indonesia. Tapi kita ingin lebih tahu begitu ya, ada apa sih di Singapura? Oke, tempat-tempat di Singapura about the Singapore tourism. So can you explain about the Singapore tourism? What is your target for the future, especially for Indonesian people, tourists from Indonesia?
Well, I think in my discussions with Indonesian friends, I think the places which are very popular, Universal Studios, Marina Bay Sands, Gardens by the Bay, and of course Orchard Road. These are all the very popular places for our Singapore, for our Indonesian friends who visit Singapore. Over weekends.
The best venue in Singapore you can try.
Yeah, but I think that for us, at least Singaporeans, we feel that there is more to Singapore than these places. We are very proud of these places, by the way, and we are very happy that our foreign friends, especially from Indonesia, would like to visit them. But we have other places as well. If you go to Little India, if you go to Chinatown, if you go to Kampong Glam, for example, you will see different aspects of Singapore's past. How we evolved with different ethnic and religious groups. You will see the core identity of Singapore in these places. So we also encourage our guests to go to these places other than the others that I've mentioned. Singapore is of course well known for its food.
Culinaire.
Here again, I am the one who's always asking our Indonesian friends because they seem to be better at being able to find where good cheap food is readily available. And I think in Singapore you even have Michelin starred food which is at an affordable price. So you have very high-end fine dining, but you also have very affordable food, both good. I would encourage your pemirsa, if you are interested, please go to our embassy Facebook page or Instagram account.
Jadi bisa lihat-lihat ya, Mr. Ambassador ya.
Ada banyak rekomendasi di sana. A lot of recommendations which are put up there, so you can look at that. But I think Singapore, we are also trying to promote ourselves as a venue where you can come and partake in a number of activities. So if you like to watch sports events, we have that. Concerts, so whether it's Formula 1, music concerts. Whether you like, if you like museums, then we have a very good Asian Civilizations Museum, and we also have a very good National Gallery, where you will see work not just from Singapore, but also from the rest of the region, including Indonesia. So these are also places that I would encourage our Indonesian friends to go to.
Besides shopping, right? Besides shopping, it's a very best place. Mr. Ambassador, we talk about the people. Year by year. Maybe about the population, the people of the Singapore will be increased. How to manage and how to handle this problem?
I think if you visit Singapore, you will see that although the density of the population is pretty high, you will not really feel it so much if you live in Singapore. This is because of very careful planning that has gone into making sure that the people are able to live, work and play in Singapore in relative comfort. Although you are absolutely right, we have space limitations and our population is increasing. But we have tried to overcome this by very careful planning. So although, for example, although Singapore is made up of very high-rise buildings, but there are also a lot of green spaces. There are also a lot of park connectors to make sure that our people do not feel that they are living in a concrete jungle. But as I said, this depends very heavily on utilizing our space wisely, making changes where necessary, and also in terms of very careful planning. And we plan not just 1 year, 2 years in advance. The plans are done 10-15 years in advance. So for example, how we would plan the setup in terms of where people live and work, the plans are already for 15 years in advance, are already being done today. And this is something that we have been doing for the longest time.
And how about the migration people, right? Many people around the world. It's very interesting with the Singapore, because it is a center of the business, center of the financial. They want to get the opportunity working in Singapore. How to handle it?
Well, I think like any other country, we also have our immigration laws, which are very strict, which are very clear in terms of categorizing how long you can live and work in Singapore if you are not a citizen or a permanent resident. So I think these are rules which are there to make sure that our friends who come to work in Singapore work within the stipulated time and then they return or they go elsewhere. I think this is the same that other countries are also doing. But as I said, our ability to manage a growing population will depend very heavily on our ability to plan and to execute that plan. And to make sure that it's not just a question of cramming as many people as possible in a limited space, but also to make sure that that space is livable and environmentally sustainable.
Okay, how about the, now in Indonesia, we increase about the transportations, about everything. So how about the, in the future roadmap of the Singapore, can you explain about this?
Yeah, I think you would probably know that Singapore has very detailed plans in terms of managing our car population.
Okay.
So Singapore is a place where you will go. Yes, there are traffic jams during peak hours and so on, but not in a way that it affects our economy, not in a way that affects the lifestyle of people. You can still go from point A to B in a reasonable period of time.
How to handle it?
It depends, first of all, on a lot of planning, not just in terms of building roads and in terms of road planning, but in terms, as I said, of managing the car population.
Managing is very important.
Yes, so we need to make sure that our car population does not increase too much too fast. And as a result, buying a car in Singapore is not an easy thing to do because there is an economic price to it. Maintaining a car is also not easy, but it is done deliberately so that we can manage the car population and so that, but of course we can't tell the people cars are expensive and too bad for you. We will have to find a way for them to move freely around the island, and for that, of course, we have to make sure that our public transport system is of a certain standard. So in Singapore, as our Indonesian friends would know, we have the MRT, we have the buses, we have app-based transportation, we have taxis. This is all part of the public transportation system to make sure that mobility is not compromised, even as we try to manage our car population.
Banyak tantangan begitu ya, ataupun masalah yang dihadapi beberapa kota besar dan juga negara-negara yang sangat berkembang di dunia begitu, termasuk di Jakarta ataupun di negara Singapura sendiri terkait dengan pengembangan lokasi begitu ya, pengembangan tempat sendiri, reklamasi tepatnya begitu ya. Talk about the reclamations is also a problem in Jakarta. I think in Singapore also. So how to face these problems in Singapore?
Well, I think in Singapore's case, we don't look at reclamation as a problem. It is not a problem. In fact, it is one of the ways through which we make sure that we have the ability to create additional space. So, example, if you look at the marina development around Singapore, this is done on reclaimed land. This is something that we have been doing for decades. But this is something that we have been doing very, very carefully. First of all, because we do not want to do it in a way that will damage the environment. We have to make sure that what we put up is structurally safe. And of course, reclamation is a very costly activity. So we have to make sure that this is done for these three reasons properly, and not done in a poorly planned or haphazard way where there are environmental problems later, or it becomes financially draining, or it leads to other socio-economic and environmental problems. So it is done very carefully. Of course, there is also a limit to how much Singapore can reclaim. We cannot reclaim seenak-enaknya because in no time then we will be passing the boundaries into other countries' space. We are very aware of that. So we have not conducted any reclamation which will in any way affect any of our neighbors because we do not want to be in that kind of a situation. So sometimes I hear in Indonesia people saying, oh, Singapore's reclamation will change the boundaries between Singapore and Indonesia. I can say with 100% confidence and to assure all your viewers that the boundaries are already fixed. So the reclamation will not change the boundaries. It will not affect the boundaries in any way. And in fact, in Indonesia's case, being such a large country, the country with which you have no territorial dispute or boundary dispute in our region is Singapore. So there are no boundary disputes between Singapore and Indonesia, and you can be sure that our reclamation will also take that into account.
Because the main problem is how to manage, right? Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the time, Mr. Ambassador. Terima kasih banyak. Good to see you. Dan pemirsa, itu dia tadi obrolan kita bersama dengan Mr. Ambassador of Singapura untuk Indonesia, yaitu Mr. Anil Kumar Nayar. Dan pemirsa, semoga segala informasi kemudian juga key of success dari Singapura sendiri ini bisa memberikan wawasan bagi kita untuk sama-sama berkembang untuk meningkatkan kerjasama antara Indonesia dan juga Singapura, dan juga tentunya bisa bermanfaat bagi Anda. Saya Adam Lubis pamit dari Diplomasi. Terima kasih Anda bersama kami. Sampai jumpa.